On September 6, 2018, Hollywood lost a renowned and sometimes not so renowned actor, Mr. Burt Reynolds. While you may think this is a bit unrelated to my gaming channel, it's actually not, because Burt Reynolds was actually the voice to one of the more famous faces in the Grand Theft Auto series, Avery Carrington. If you're not familiar with this character, well, I bet I can jog your memory with these two words: Demolition Man. That's right. This is the name of one of the hardest missions, in my opinion, in the Grand Theft Auto series, and it's given to us by, you guessed it, Avery Carrington. So, to summarize things, the premise of this video is really just to pay tribute to a man who brought the GTA character known as Avery Carrington to life. We've dug up some very interesting facts about Burt Reynolds and his relationship with Rockstar Games, but also some notable things that you may not have known about his character. Let us know your favorite Avery Carrington moment down below in the comments, and let's get started. In GTA Vice City, Avery is featured in 6 different missions, and he appears as the boss in 3, meaning he gives us those missions. The most famous being Demolition Man, where we have to pilot a very hard-to-control RC helicopter into an under-construction building, drop a bomb on each floor while being timed. I'm never going to stop complaining about this mission. I hate it. It's horrible, and I'm sure a lot of you guys agree with me, but that's like the most fond memory I have of Avery Carrington in the GTA series. Also, his notable appearance, his cowboy hat, looking like Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Doug Dimmadome. Kidding, but his cowboy-esque appearance, I've always thought that was cool, and I've always thought that made him stick out more than kind of like anybody else or some of the other more generic characters in the GTA games. But let's talk about his backstory before I forget. So, according to in-game dialogue, Avery was actually born in Texas, and at some point in his life became a super successful real estate mogul and property magnate who's known for his willingness to use any tactic to intimidate his opponents. Cough, cough, blowing up a building with an RC helicopter. He also takes on a protege, Mr. Donald Love, and passes on his knowledge of the real estate world that would sadly come back to bite him. So with that said, let's fast forward 12 years. Here's something that you may not know. Avery actually makes an appearance in 2 missions in Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, set 12 years after the events of GTA Vice City. The missions being the Panlantic land grab, where Avery is actually killed by his former protege, Donald Love, and a second mission called Morgue Party Resurrection, where we are actually tasked with stealing Avery's corpse and bringing it back to Donald Love for him to eat. Donald Love is he's a creature, he's a character, he's also a cannibal. So, lastly, thanks to GTA series videos, they dug up an excerpt from an article a few years back describing Burt Reynolds' hostility to Dan Houser, the vice president of freaking Rockstar Games. Burt literally hated this guy for no reason at all, and honestly, I can't help but to laugh at this. With Laszlo Jones, a former radio host, Dan created in-game radio stations that featured well-known DJs and commercials brimming with parody. Some programs could be so humorous you had to pull off to the side of the road during a mission to avoid crashing. Rockstar continued to add celebrity voices to the GTA experience as well, including Dennis Hopper as porn director Steve Scott and Burt Reynolds as the corrupt real estate tycoon Avery Carrington. Dan, a fan of Reynolds since Smokey and the Bandit movies, went down to the recording session in Tribeca expecting to find a guy affable that they might raise a glass together. For some reason, Reynolds was uncomfortable with Dan in the studio and began crying, "Get that limey out of here. I'm not going to work if this limey Brit is in here." That's an insult towards like British people. The atmosphere became so tense that Reynolds and Dan were chest to chest and fisticuffs were about to break out. They had to be separated by the studio's engineer. So, for no reason whatsoever, Burt Reynolds didn't like the vice president of Rockstar Games, the guy he's recording a voice for in a game. It's crazy. It's funny. It doesn't make sense, but that's a great story that I'm sure Dan can always tell. Like, hey, this movie star that I really looked up to wanted to just completely annihilate me for no reason whatsoever. So, with that said, that's Avery Carrington. This is a tribute to this character, but also a tribute to the voice actor who brought this character to life. So if you guys enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Drop a like, consider subscribing. Let me know your favorite Avery Carrington moment down below in the comments. I read through every single one of those. And thank you thank you, Burt Reynolds. Thank you, Avery Carrington, for your contributions to the GTA series. And I'll see you guys next time.